Charles Cheval.
Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I just want to begin my short contribution in the second reading debate by acknowledging the Minister for addressing some of the potential concerns that I raised in my first reading speech and her second reading speech. I accept that the choice of timing is never easy and that there are always pros and cons. I think I probably would agree with Trevor Mallard that whatever decision is settled on and the course of action as to commemoration on the 18th is now clear. It does leave a further decision, and that is what opportunity will there be at a later date for the entire nation to have an opportunity to mourn, to commemorate and to celebrate the what we know will be the recovery of Canterbury. And maybe the idea that was advanced by Marion Street around an unveiling in a year's time from the anniversary of the earthquake is an appropriate thing to consider. I mentioned in my initial contribution the services that were held around the nation on the first day of this month, and I think they do reveal a real need amongst New Zealanders outside Canterbury to participate in that process. So I'm going to say no more on this issue other than to respectfully urge the Minister and her colleagues to consider that need, because I do think it's real. And as I say, we accept the decision as to timing and as to the regional nature of the holiday that we're discussing now, but I do think it is very important that wider need and the importance of making sure that everybody has an opportunity to, as I say, do that, engage in that three-stage process, mourn those whom we've lost, commemorate the event, and then look forward to the future. And I hope that that looking forward to the future is something that we can all now begin to focus on. I just really encourage ministers and members of the government to think about two things as we move forward. One is the need for compassion, and we've heard all sorts of comments in the last couple of weeks about looters, and you know, many would say fair enough, that sort of behaviour is terrible, but let's also not forget that there's other behaviour going on like profiteering, price gouging, excessive renting, and we do need to think about the people who are affected by that sort of behaviour. As far as I'm concerned, it's every bit as bad as looting, and we may need to think about taking powers as has been done in the United States in post-emergency situations, so that there is some ability in the short term to control that sort of activity so that the people, particularly at the bottom and the middle, who need to rent commercial premises or their houses, who need to buy goods and services, aren't just affected by the rawness of the rules of supply and demand. So that's the first hope that I would express going forward. The second one is really to urge the government to be far-sighted, because there's a huge opportunity here for the people of Christchurch and of Canterbury when it comes to rebuilding what's been lost. And wouldn't it be fantastic to see a true eco-city with businesses and houses built to the highest energy efficiency standards, a world-class transport system, clever town planning, really smart town planning, preserving those beautiful heritage buildings wherever it's possible, and really concentrating on the intellectual and entrepreneurial opportunities that the city has going forward, that wonderful clean tech sector, the university that's a real jewel in the crown, the tourism businesses that contribute so many jobs, and other educational and training institutions where there's a huge opportunity to get people upskilled and address all those training needs that we know people have, where people can go forward and really contribute to the rebuilding of the city. It would just be fantastic if, rather than looking inward and being preoccupied with the awful past that we have all spoken about today, if we were able to really look forward with pride and have a think about the opportunities that that sort of visionary rebuild would guarantee to that magnificent city in the South Island. So, Sarah, I simply, with those words, commend the bill to the House in the second reading.
Colin King.
Thank you, sir. One cannot